Hey everybody, this is Dan back with another mortgage video, and I just got done presenting to a group of realtors this morning that all wanted to know, as a lender, what are things that we can be doing to help our client put in the most competitive offer possible? As we are already seeing multiple offer types of situations and competitions for homes in certain price points and locations. And so we're not even at the spring market yet, right? And as the weather warms up here in the Midwest, we're only expecting to see the competition with homes grow. And so this is going to be something that would be helpful in mostly all markets. If you're competing with somebody as a lender, here's some things that we can do, and I think a lot of good lenders do, in order to try and help their clients be as competitive as possible. The first thing I'm always going to recommend, if we have any sort of time at all, even a couple days, is to submit in a TBD underwrite. So TBD is a to be determined property address, right? We're not under contract yet. We're just going through the pre-approval process. We're getting the application, but then after we have the application, permission to pull credit, we request the documentation for income and assets and have an authorization form signed. There's no cost that we have to our clients. Once we have those things, I can send in that information to one of the underwriters ahead of time before writing an offer and have an actual underwriter review credit, income, and assets. And once that's done and everything looks good, we can include that in the pre-approval letter so that the sellers know and the listing agent knows. Our client is not just pre-approved, they've actually had an underwriter review their information. And unless you're a cash buyer, you're taking out a loan, there's really nothing stronger that you can do with already showing that you've been pre-underwritten. And if we have, like I said, only a day or two, there's no downside to doing this, and it's always going to be something that I recommend to my clients. So that's one of the first things that we offer. Another one is just educating our clients on the different contingencies as part of the purchase contract. I know a lot of the realtors already do this, but I reiterate with the clients on our side with the financing what is actually required. Because we may need an appraisal in order to get the loan, but you are still able to potentially waive the appraisal contingency in your purchase contract, it just means that you're letting the seller know you're not as concerned about what the property appraises for, that you might still be willing to pay a certain price even if the appraisal comes back at a different value. So educating clients to let them know what are the different contingencies, are they required? And if you do waive a contingency, how is that going to possibly negatively impact you, and are you prepared for any of the ramifications with waiving contingencies? And I'm talking about the appraisal, which, by the way, we can also upfront, if we know which property that a client likes and is going to be submitting an offer on, some programs we don't even need an appraisal for. So if it's a conventional loan, I can run through Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac and potentially upfront let my client know we might not need an appraisal. So don't even worry about it, even if you were upfront. If we don't need an appraisal for the financing, then that client can elect also to not include that appraisal waiver in that contract. Also, the inspection contingency. I always recommend home inspections for clients. I do think it's risky to waive them, but at least knowing that if you're up against a multiple offer type of situation and you really like the house, there's a great chance that some of those other buyers may be waiving that inspection contingency. So an inspection is not required typically for most loan programs. Again, I always recommend them, but at least having the knowledge going in when you're making the offer, whether or not you'd like to include one in your purchase contract. And then another big one, a lot of realtors have been asking me about here too, is the home sale contingency. So they want to know, Dan, if we're competing, this client already has a house, it's not yet sold, they love this home, we don't want to put a home sale contingency on our purchase contract because we don't think our offer is going to get accepted. So seeing what options there are for clients that may already own a home, and are there any ways that we can help get them pre-approved without them being required to have a home sale contingency in their contract. So I think those are all big things that we as lenders here with Homestead, and again, a lot of good lenders are going to be looking at for their clients. Another one is asking about a quick closing. If we went through the TBD underwrite, everything looks great. We've got a very strong buyer. We've got all the documentation in. Appraisals are coming back here really quickly. Appraisers are nowhere near as busy right now as when, they were during like the COVID time as an example. So for well-qualified clients that we've got all their documentation on up front, we're going to be confident with saying we can do a 14-day closing. Again, it may not be for everybody, but for a lot of clients that have everything already filled out, have submitted everything, a very quick closing is also going to get the attention of the sellers and the listing agent to, once again, show the strength as a buyer. They're well qualified. They're working with somebody here that's reliable as a lender, and they're going to be able to close quickly. So if nothing else, it makes them pause for a second, because even though it may be unusual, and again, that's where I do always put my services out here to contact the listing agents as well. So when the offer is submitted, the listing agent is typically going to be getting all these different offers and setting them apart by, as a lender, reaching out with a phone call. I introduce myself, let them know I'm working with this buyer and this buyer's agent, and I already have all the documentation. If we went through the TBD, I reiterate that, hey, look, our client is squeaky clean here. We're ready to go. There's nothing on our side that's going to be any type of an issue. We're available anytime as well. I'm going to keep you up to date on my side. And just reassure that listing agent too that, hey, this buyer is ready. And then the nice thing too, on our side, is that when I make those calls, from time to time, I might find out a little bit of information too that I can give feedback to the buyer's agent and to the buyer. That seller's agent might tip their hat just a little bit with some piece of information, or maybe just give us an update on when we're going to hear back, because it's always an anxious time when the buyer submitted an offer and they're waiting to hear back to know anything at all from that offer. So making that phone call is something that I always offer to my clients as well. It's a very simple thing for us to do, and just reassure that seller and listing agent that we're here and we're ready to go. Another thing that we talk about with clients is the loan program and the impact that the program could have on things that might happen and take place during the loan process, such as the appraisal. So if a client has different options for financing, maybe they're approved with both a conventional and an FHA loan, letting them know, of course, what the differences and the benefits with each program are specific to that client is important. Then also letting clients know how certain loan programs might be looked at compared to others too when the seller's reviewing the contracts. And as far as the FHA loans go, there are some more things that an appraiser will look at for a specific home with FHA compared to conventional. And I don't think there's anything wrong with a government program at all. I really do like FHA, VA, USDA. They're great programs. However, if you're competing with other people that are going in with the conventional loan, if there are known things that are part of a specific property that are going to be an issue with a government loan that may not be an issue with a conventional loan, it's at least nice to know, well, do you have the option to go in with the conventional pre-approval? Can you get approved for a conventional loan, or do we have to go with the government loan? And if you do have to go with the government loan, well, no problem. At least be aware. Let's go through and know the common things with homes that may come up during the appraisal that have to get addressed, so that you can be upfront about that too. And if there's anything that you can see with the home, walking through with the agent, again, peeling paint is a big thing, but smoke detectors or CO2 detectors in the house where they're supposed to be is another easy thing that the government programs do more commonly look for than conventional. Hand railings on stairways, so things like that. So having those conversations with clients up front, and as you're going through, if there's anything with the property specifically that you can bring to the attention, say, hey, if you're concerned about this, here's a plan as a buyer that we can have to try and make sure that we take care of this and get this squared away before an appraiser comes out there, so that we can easily, again, have a quick closing, smooth transaction, and have that conversation about, again, which programs we're using and how different homes might have things that come up that we at least want to be aware of when you're writing an offer. So I think those are the main things that I wanted to go through here. I talk about these with my clients. Again, I think these are things that a lot of lenders should be doing, especially in a competitive situation, to try and help their clients stand out and put their offer more near the top of the list and try and get more clients into more homes that they really want to be in. So I appreciate you guys all watching this here today. I really do hope that this was helpful for you in some way. If there's anything that you wanted to add, please reach out to me here, leave a comment. I will be, of course, posting more videos here in the future. I might even come at it and bring some guests on the realty side and talk about it from the perspective of clients as well, what clients can be doing to try and put themselves in a better position too. So if you're interested in seeing those videos, let me know. Thanks again for stopping by. Please do leave a like and subscribe. Hope you have a great day, and I'll talk to you again soon.